And the rugby league players that you've admired over the years that didn't play rugby, who would you have liked to have seen play rugby?
Oh, we had Andrew Johns done, mate.
Really?
In 2005, yeah. We had him done. He was going to come.
In 2005?
Yeah. I think he was still around.
Was he?
And he would have made a hell of a difference.
No, wow. Slater?
Slater would have been handy. That Cameron Murray would be pretty handy at 12.
He's
There's
still
a few
playing.
of them at the moment.
You can't mention that. They'll say you're going to throw a pinch in.
Yeah, married to the Wallabies, eh?
Yeah,
He showed his cards there.
That sounded a bit ominous. We're talking Andrew Johns, Billy Slater,
And
Cameron Murray. Where did that come from?
Oh, he's off.
Andrew Johns, Billy Slater, Cameron Murray.
Whoa.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, Russell Crowe just fell out of the chair.
That just didn't fit.
You've got a scoop and you weren't even trying.
Andrew Johns, Billy Slater, Cameron Murray.
Whoa. Yeah.
Well, I've got no doubt he's a target
Oh.
after listening to that.
Who do you reckon would have been great rugby players? I mean, Andrew Walker, he's your favourite, but he played for the Wallabies, of course, and Matt Rogers was great, and Lottie and Wendell went over there. I mean, Joey would have.
Well, that was one of the points I made in the interview. Back when he was coaching the Brumbies, when I retired from coaching, Andrew Walker was playing for us at the Roosters, and I advised Andrew that he should go to rugby, that I was retiring and I kind of wouldn't be around to look after him. And I'd spoken to Eddie Jones about him, and the Brumbies took Andrew Walker on, and Eddie invited me down that off-season to speak with the Brumbies as a group. They were one of the top Super 12 teams at the time. I think it was Super 12 back then. And I talked a lot with Eddie about footy. He loves rugby league. He played rugby league as a kid, and he's a rugby league fan, South Sydney fan.
Well, he can't poach Cameron Murray then if he's a South fan.
Oh,
Go and get some of the Roosters.
Well, he said it. Andrew Johns, Billy Slater, Cameron Murray.
Just come completely
He couldn't
out
get
of
it out quick enough. He couldn't get it out quick enough. But he said to me at the time, and he was very worried about it, and it was part of the big interview we did with Stan that I found most fascinating, because development of future players is my pet thing. I love that part of the game. And he said to me back then, he said, if a Super 12 rugby team, to compete with the South African teams and the New Zealand teams that were in the competition, Super 12 rugby team needed someone to come and play in the back line now, straight away, be it the Wallabies or his Brumbies. He said, I'd have to go and get a rugby league player.
Oh.
He said there was no development pathway system, and the school system had sort of let them down on preparing people for that level of football. Right, the school system was all right, and the top level was all right, but there was nothing in between. And at that time, and he was very worried about it. And so Wendell Saylor, Lottie Takiri, Matt Rogers, Andrew Walker, all found their way from rugby league over to there. And I can remember too, around that time we recruited a young bloke called Ryan Cross. Now, Ryan Cross was a champion schoolboy rugby player. His father had played rugby league for the Roosters, and we spoke to him, and his aim was to be a Wallaby. He wanted to go and be a Wallaby. And I remember saying to him as a teenager, if you want to be a Wallaby, come to rugby league for 6 or 8 years first, and that will get you ready to be a top-class rugby player. That's how we viewed it at the time, and that's what he did. He went and played for the Wallabies and as well, and he was a very good rugby league player. But and Eddie Jones admitted that that's where rugby league gets it right. Rugby league gets the pathways much better than rugby union at the moment.
I'm not sure much has changed there either. I'm quite good mates with Brett Papworth, former Wallaby, and he's lamenting the reduction. And I suppose all sports are grappling with this, but like a drop off in participation at junior level. A lot of the clubs in rugby are folding, etc., and it's all basically developed out of the private school system.
Yeah, it is. It is. And rugby league would love a presence in those school environments as well. The rugby league presence in schools has, I think, diminished significantly as well. What we've been able to do is make sure that the NRL clubs keep up their own pathways programs in junior rep football, and it's adequate at the moment. It's nowhere near as much as what you're going down a rabbit hole here, Matt.
Oh, look, we don't want to go down rabbit holes in the first episode.
I'll talk for hours on this stuff. But I said to Eddie, has it improved since we spoke, those many years ago? He said, no. I said, who's responsible for it? He said, well, that's the $64 question. He said, no one's really addressed it. He said that it's going to need a Packer-style revolution to take over the game to get that. And I didn't really understand how he thought that would happen. But if you look at rugby, World Rugby, the money is made for World Rugby by the international game. The international game makes the money, and then I suppose it's filtered down to different levels.
Right.
Obviously, he doesn't think significantly enough. In rugby league, the money is made by the NRL competition. Right? The NRL competition provides the international competition, and the NRL competition has got to provide money for pathways and development, which I've been very big on with the Commission over the last 3 or 4 years in trying to, and obviously COVID stepped in and stopped a lot of the plans that they had at that time. So we need to get back to that, and part of the whole CBA thing and the whole money thing and broadcasting rights at the moment is the NRL needs money to do different things.
I'll fill in your rabbit hole. Neither of us, well, you're probably a bigger expert on rugby than me, but geez, I reckon that's an inspired decision to get him back. He's a winner, Eddie Jones, isn't he?
Oh, he could coach rugby league. He easily. He can coach any sport. He is a high quality, best practice coach, and he's the biggest and best thing about him is he's an excellent recruiter of coaching talent. He's got no fear about who he brings into the system, with expertise in all parts of it. And really, this goes back to the American NFL model and NBL models across there that we've gone across and studied for years and years. The head coach in those areas is more a manager. You go to the great Alex Ferguson and Manchester United. They're more managers than they are actual coaching. The hands-on coaching is done by other people. They'll have their philosophy for the way the program runs. They'll have their philosophy on recruitment and all that. But these are things you've got to delegate and specialise and give to the people that. And Eddie has always recruited smart people to come and coach for him and help him out. He could coach rugby league easily. And he's a very, very experienced management man. He's a very personable fellow. He's obviously he's gone through the twos and fro's of pressure and failure and success, and understands that that's part of the process. And
World Cup this year.
I think he'd be an asset.
Oh yeah.
To any club.
I reckon the Wallabies can win that. Bearing in mind too, everyone trashes Eddie Jones. And this isn't a rugby podcast, but it was a Johnny Wilkinson right foot field goal that stopped the Wallabies from winning the World Cup under him back in 2003.
Yeah,
so the bloke's got a bit going for him.
Yeah,
and you'll see the World Cup here on Nine's Wide World of Sports too, on Stan Sport.
He was with South Africa, he was with England. I mean, he's got a whole resume of success.